Hi, I'm Clint, co-founder of Typed, a document collaboration tool that revolutionizes knowledge management. 90% of world's data was created within the last 2 years, yet our work still lives in silos. Why? Because of how we manage information. Let's face it, folders are too old and tabs just don't work anymore. We waste 2 hours every day at work looking for but not finding the information needed to get the job done. That's like hiring 5 people and having one of them literally never show up. A new way is clearly needed to work with digital knowledge, a more connected way that does not sacrifice productivity for the sake of collaboration. At Typed, we've redesigned document collaboration from this to this, an interactive network that reflects how our brains actually work. I like to call it connecting the dots. As a result, with Typed, people connect files instead of separating them in silos, focus on output without switching contexts, and be recommended the most relevant information instead of manually searching for them. And this helps teams, from Google to startups, save their most precious asset, which is time and energy, the essence for productivity to work better, faster, and more. Such customer satisfaction is reflected in our recent growth. After launching in February, we've hit 50K ARR in 4 months. But this is obviously just the beginning. We address the $10 billion collaboration SaaS market. Google Workspace alone has 2.6 billion monthly active users. And as their partner, we plan to first obtain 10% of users from existing tools. Our team is less than 2 years old. The drive behind our growth is based on not only our obsession with the mission, but also our diverse backgrounds from around the world and across industries. Writing is no longer a piece of A4 paper, but a collection of information. And we are here to dominate writing in the future of work to make it easy, efficient, and effective. And we'll start by connecting the dots. Thank you.
네, 심사위원분들께서는 자유롭게 질의응답 부탁드리겠습니다.
So I can see the value of this product. I assume this is B2C selling to consumers. Let me finish my question, sorry. So that's what I assume. If not, let me know. You had a logo of Evernote. Great solution. I think they are struggling. I don't know if they're still around, but they had a sort of a good moment, but eventually the B2C business ultimately failed. So ultimately, what is your business model? And then how you plan to create a great company out of these nice solutions?
You know, our team is actually a fan of Evernote, but it's kind of unfortunate how their business model has derailed. And I think it's not just a matter of their business model, but many of the initiatives that they took on in order to scale that actually turned back as a risk for them. But for Typed, we started as a B2C productivity tool, largely because we had run closed beta for a year. And during that time, we were relentlessly interviewing individual users because we think knowledge management and knowledge sharing, if we can't solve one person's problem, then we most certainly cannot solve the entire team's problem. But fortunately, we are transitioning now from a B2C solution to a B2B solution, which is why you've seen that recent growth within the last 2 months as we've launched a team plan.
So if I may, just one more. So your B2B partners, are they like Google's? Are they willing to pay, I don't know, a few bucks per year for the next 10 years? I can see this is sort of perfect solutions that at some point Google is willing to provide for free.
Well, from what I'm aware, one of your team members is also using it. But when you say partners, I assume it's logos and customers. Google is one of them, Google Korea especially. And there are many early stage startups that are currently using Typed at the moment.
Is most of your, so from which country is your the current revenue coming from? Is it more Korea heavy or US heavy?
So first of all, the largest portion of the revenue is coming from our B2B customers at the moment. And our B2B customers, 70% are from Korea. If you run back the entire user pool, actually 40% of users are from Korea because in fact, Typed can be used by an individual as well as with Teams. So 40% are from Korea, 30% are from the US, and the rest actually ranges from all over the world. We have about 130 countries accumulated with 25,000 users accumulated signups.
Thanks for the presentation. I think as you guys grow bigger and be successful in connecting the dots and having people rethink about file management through your format, if that world does come, what are some of the things that you think will allow you to be the winner in that space versus this just becoming a commodity in terms of how people look at files?
So I think we're actually one of the very few solutions that are trying to escape the traditional directory structure, which we now know as folders. The reason why folders are not good in managing files and why you can't always find them when you need them is because first of all, they're 50 years old. They came out when computers came out, and they were emulations of file cabinets. The piece of knowledge today is not just by itself, but a collection of information, which is why we have gazillions of tabs open all the time. But when we do have those tabs open, we need to find the relational data that actually allows us to find something when we're working on a specific context. The reason why our knowledge network is essential is because it's precisely we capture the context of these files through their relationships, adding the user's engagement with these files, which allows us to recommend a feature that was released today, and you can all check it out at type.do. You will be recommended the file instead of having to even search for them or ask your colleague.
시간 관계상 질문 마지막으로 한 개만 더 받도록 하겠습니다.
We're going to have one more question.
What is your customer acquisition strategy?
Our customer acquisition strategy is actually manifold, but our most prominent is actually word of mouth. We have a community based on, we call them typers, and largely our biggest portion of the targets are early stage startups. So they're the ones that struggle with, they're not quite sure what tool to use, but they certainly need some sort of organizational structure in managing their information. So fortunately, we've been fortunate enough that our major acquisition is not through performance marketing, but through our original content, our blogs, our SEOs, organic traffic. We do founder-led sales, which is also quite efficient. Coming out to conferences like this is also quite effective as well. We plan on doing marketing throughout 3Q and 4Q when we do have much more logos that we're looking at right now.
Is this a local agent or does this live in the cloud? And if it lives in the cloud, how do you keep the data integrity and privacy of the materials?
So what you weren't able to see from the product itself is that we are actually very heavily integrated with Google Workspace. So it is a SaaS product. It is on the cloud. We're a product built off of GCP, which I know there's competition, but we're a product built out of GCP, but our data storage is actually integrated with Google Drive. So anyone who's already using Google Drive, the stuff they create on Typed gets automatically saved onto Google Drive. The stuff they create on Google Drive gets bi-directionally integrated. And the privacy and policies follow Google's policies at the moment.
So how do you deal with corporate clouds that they don't want Google or AWS to be involved, but they want to have their own corporate cloud and have all the security?
I mean, to be fully transparent, we're not actually targeting at the moment corporate clients who are on AWS and using Microsoft Word, right? But like I said, there are 2.6 billion monthly active users with Google. We're actually launching a promotion for people who are already using Google Workspace to adopt Typed and actually save discounts on their Google Workspace usage subscription. Right now, at the moment, I think for the next year, we are focused on turning those users, at least even the 10%, which would make 280 million users bring on to Typed. That's the segment that we are focused on right now.